God commendeth his love toward us, in that, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Much more then, being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from the wrath through him. That is Romans 5, 8, and 9. Welcome back to another episode of Thinking Well Podcast. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Nick.
Hi, Nick.
What's up, Kyle?
What's going on, man? How was your week?
It was pretty good. I'm glad it's over, but it was pretty good.
It was definitely one of those weeks, man.
Yeah.
I talked to a guy on the phone today, and I asked him how his Tuesday was going. That's what kind of week it was.
How his Tuesday was
And he was like, what? I was like, you're right. It's not Tuesday.
I know it. It's not.
But this is another installment in Meet the Members. You know, I'm really excited about this episode. This is going to be a good one. Today, we have David and Judy Simpson. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. We are honored.
For a Tuesday, how are you doing?
For a Tuesday,
Yeah.
pretty great. For a Tuesday, pretty great. We are honored to have you guys on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for taking time out of your Tuesday evening to make it happen. I appreciate it. But as we were saying before we started recording, this is just kind of a conversation, life story / testimony kind of deal. The idea is for the members of this church, for others that will come after you, to be able to listen back to something like this. And when they ask who David and Judy Simpson were, well, we have something to show them. Not that they won't already know. You guys are foundational here at this church. But I guess we'll start with you, Judy. Judy Simpson. What's your testimony? What's your life story?
My life story is my parents moved from Louisiana to Fort Worth 6 months before I was born. And so my dad was working at a butcher shop owned by Vance Godbee's, and Brother Al Lott came in and visiting. And my mom was still in Louisiana with my brothers. And Dad wrote her a letter and said, I think I found the church we need to go to. And so Vance Godbee gave my dad the keys to his brand new truck and told him to go get his family. So he went to Louisiana, got my mom and brothers and all their belongings, and came. And we lived in a little house not too far down Hodgkins Road from here when I was born in February. So I've been at Lake Worth Baptist Church from nursery until now. And that's 70 plus years.
That's amazing.
So
I think you have everyone beat.
I don't know. Maxine Hatton is another one that's been here
Calling
around.
her out.
Yep.
But anyway, so I've been very blessed
Amen.
to have this as my church home my entire life. I've had 3 pastors, Brother Al Lott, Brother Jerry, and now Zach. And I don't know, I hear other people's testimonies of being in other churches,
Sure.
having other pastors, and I didn't realize until then how very blessed I am. And I've seen a lot of people come and go. I have a lot of people in my life that I can say were such a testimony to me and my raising, I guess you would say. Brother Al always said everything that was good about me was his doing, and anything else was mine. But I know, Nick, I think you saw some pictures of a lot of the old members, and that you said there was another church before us. And I was blessed to know a lot of those people. And just the memories of Sunday school teachers and youth directors and different people. And anyway, and as far as my coming to faith, I made a public profession at the age of 10. I had a friend that went forward, and I went right behind her. Didn't know a thing of what I was doing. But being raised in church, I came Sunday mornings and Sunday nights. We weren't Wednesday night people, my mom and dad. But I got involved in our youth ministry. we had a bus ministry at the time. We'd go visiting on Saturday mornings and knock doors and visit our bus riders, and I taught Sunday school. I did all the things. Well, when I was about 15 in the youth department, we would have what they called afterglows because we had Sunday evening services. And so we would stay and have sandwiches and fellowships and a devotion. And during that devotion time, the question was asked, can you go back in your mind to a time where you realized you were a sinner and you accepted Jesus as your Savior? I couldn't do it. And so I thought about it, and I kept bargaining with God, saying, but I do this and I do that. And, I wrestled with it until I was the summer of that I was 19. I'd gone to Bible college the year before. And that year, I didn't get to go to camp, but it was in Lake Murray. And so it was an easy evening drive to go up there and come back. And I did that all week. And I think it was Thursday evening, I finally got the nerve up because I kept thinking, what are people going to say? They think I'm saved. I don't know if I am or not. And I went forward and talked to Brother Al and talked to him. And he told me, he said, I think you're just doubting your salvation. We'll talk about it next week. And I said, okay. So on the way home, my uncle was driving. We're on 35 coming home. And he doesn't take the I-35 west to come to Fort Worth. He was going east. He stopped in the middle of I-35 and reversed and went back up. And the whole time he was doing it, I was praying, God, please don't let us have a wreck. Please don't let me die. I don't know if I'm going to go to heaven or hell. Just please don't let me die. And I made it home safe. And then that Sunday morning, Brother Al was preaching on Romans 6:23, the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life. And he was really talking about the gift of God. But my Bible was open to Romans 5:1 that talks about the peace that we have through faith in Jesus Christ. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't have that peace.
Yeah.
I haven't had that peace. And I finally realized I was a sinner and I was on my way to hell. And once I got lost, it was easy to get saved. I just trusted the Lord, and I've never had a doubt since.
Amen.
Yeah, that's good.
And so that's one of the things I think of being raised in church. A lot of times you have that, you think you're saved. And, it just really takes, and I'm so thankful God continued to pursue me for those 4 or 5 years that I was able to come to accepting. And anyway, that was my testimony of faith. And then, of course, we've continued on here. David and I got married when I was 20, and I was able to work in a lot of the different ministries here. The one that I've loved the most is the preschool department and the beginners. At the time is what we called them. Now they're the explorers, but it's the preschool class. And I'm so thankful that God gave me that opportunity because he never blessed us with kids.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of kids that are my kids.
He blessed you with kids in a different way.
In a different way.
That's right.
The kind I can give to their mom and dad.
Yeah, the best kind.
But anyway, so yeah. So
That's great.
I'll turn it over to you, David.
You're up to bat, David.
Well, let's see. Let's go back to 1842. No, just kidding.
Sounds about right.
So for me, I made a false profession at 12 in Amarillo. We had moved from San Antonio, where we lived there for 12 years. 12 years. And my dad had been in the Air Force. He had retired, and we moved to Amarillo, where he went to work for an aerospace company up there. And there was a Baptist church down the street from us. And matter of fact, we've had that pastor, the current pastor, here at our preachers conference. And not the same guy, but it's one of those, I went forward because I thought I was supposed to. They had us all bow our heads and asked if you didn't know, if you didn't know for sure you weren't saved or all that. And I raised my hand, and then everybody puts their head up, and he says, "Okay, if you raised your hand, come up front. You're saved."
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird. So anyway, went through that for a lot of years. What really triggered me was I was in Bible school in Dallas, same one that she went to, and there was a preacher on the radio. We only had radio back then. We didn't have TV. Anyway, this preacher on the radio said, I've heard from somebody, and they said that the rapture is going to be on this specific date, on this year, this date, this time. And I was sweating it. I thought, I know the Bible says there's no man that knows when it's going to happen, but what if it really does happen on this date? And I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Because I made a profession that I don't know was real. And so in 75, before we got married, in 1975, I got saved at 2 a.m. in the morning at a house in Lake Worth, in the old Lake Worth area, the old Indian Oaks. And, I was kind of like her. I'd been here teaching in class and working in junior church and all this kind of stuff, and doing printing and all this kind of stuff around the church. And I got up I got saved that morning at 2 a.m. and I came in the next day. We were doing some work here at the church, and I walked up to Brother Al and I said, "Hey, I got saved last night, or actually this morning." He goes, "Well, it's about time." I said, "What do you mean it's about time? I knew you were all lost all along." He's like, "Well, dude, why didn't you tell me?" Well, I have been, through my messages.
Right.
Anyway, it's been interesting, the growth that we have both seen. We got married in 76 and been married 50 years this year.
Wow.
And it's been a good trip. I mean, we've had our downs and ups.
Sure.
Sometimes we have more downs than we have ups, but God's been with us, and God's worked us all the way through it all, and God has blessed us in so many ways that it's hard to list. I mean, it's hard to put a number on it. So, God's really been good to us.
Amen.
Amen.
How did you guys meet? Like, what's the story of how y'all met?
Well, we had. Did we date once before we went to college?
We knew each other from church.
Yeah.
The first time we had a date was for his band banquet. He was a sophomore in high school. I was in the 8th grade. His dad drove us there. We, had our little date. Neither one of us danced. We just kind of sat and, Anyway, and then I don't think we even, because he worked at Vance Godby's on Sundays, so he'd come to Sunday school, and so I don't think we even talked to each other probably for another couple of years.
Yeah.
And then we dated when we were in his senior year, my sophomore year, for a while. And then we didn't date until we were driving back and forth to college. And I had a car, he didn't, so we would drive.
I had to have a girlfriend because she had the car.
You need a ride, yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
anyway, so we drove, and when we started back to where we were dating, I was like, "Okay, God, is this going to be real? If it's not, let's cut this off because we, And lo and behold, a year later we got married, and God's been so faithful to us
Yep.
for the last 50 years.
Amen.
That's amazing. So this church brought you guys together.
Yep.
Nice. And then kind of going back a bit, so you guys both had false professions.
Yes.
Interesting. And I think that's probably more common than you think, where you have this like emotional response, especially at like a young age. But there's not a lot of explanation to like what you're actually doing, and really confirmation. Like, do you understand what you're doing? That's very interesting that you guys both had that kind of similar journey, and really kind of the aftermath of that kind of fostered by the same person as well. I never, we talked about this in Brother Jerry's episode. I'm not old enough to remember Al at all. I wish I could have. I wish I could have met him. But that's amazing. Just completely different people, different backgrounds, but similar there. Come to this church. You guys are, in the same environment. And it's just meant to be. That's amazing.
We hope so.
Yeah. You got 50 years under your belt.
We put in 50 years on it, so we hope this is it.
Yeah. When we got married, we said, okay, divorce is off the table. Murder maybe, but not divorce.
Sure.
But, God, this is one thing I really just, when I'm not here anymore, I hope people can remember that how faithful God was to us, and the testimony of his faithfulness for us, because there are so many times that, he's just gone before us and prepared the way.
Sure.
And when I was young, I was a worrier. What about this and what about that, and not having kids. Well, who's going to take care of us when we get old, and yada, yada, yada. But God has
We'll be dead, we won't care.
Well, I'm not dead yet.
I know.
Anyway, but God has just been, gone before us and prepared the way in so many different things. And I wish I could have told that younger Judy, don't sweat it, God's got it.
Yeah.
And that's one testimony I try to share with, some of the younger couples in our church that are going through things, and to let them know, hey, it might be hard now, but wait till you get past it, and this too shall pass.
Yeah.
And you can look back and see how faithful God's been. I could just testify forever and ever about the different things over the last 50 years that God has done for us. And now how, we can sit back and be so thankful for what he's done, and to not have to worry, and I shouldn't have worried back then, but I did. And that God is just faithful, and just trust him, trust the process.
Could we just go into that a little bit? Because there's a lot of young couples I know, young Christian couples, who are going through that same struggle, not being able to have kids. So could you kind of share both y'all's testimony through that a little bit?
Childbirth or non-childbirth, or
how y'all found out that was the case?
Well, when I probably was, we'd been married about 8 or 9 years, and we went through infertility. And
it's a wonderful process, trust me.
And, it was just a situation that God gave me a peace to know that he's in control.
Yeah.
And that if it happens, it will happen. If not, then he's got a better plan. And I know during the time we were going through that, I knew others that were going through it, and they were so bitter, and just because they couldn't. But I never had that. I just knew that God had a plan. I didn't know what it was, but now I can kind of look back and see I worked in the kids ministry for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd had my own kids, if I'd have been able to do that.
Right.
And so I think God used that to help fulfill that need for me. We also had the Hattons, Zach's mom and dad, Robert and Teresa, who were good friends. And we were the godparents to Zach and Heather. And we were great with that, you know. I was like, you know, but then they had Ben and Daniel, and I'm like, okay, y'all better live a very long life unless you still grow
maybe
up.
off the table now.
But, you know, they helped because Zach and Heather were our kids, you know.
Yeah.
And we were, again, able to send them home,
Yeah.
you know. But, you know, just God's blessed us with that. And he did. He gave me a peace about it. And after I look back, and the only thing I ever had an issue with was when I could see people who abused their kids. And I asked God, why did you let them have kids
Yeah.
and not me?
Sure.
And I also got to babysit for about 5 years. And that kind of gave me my maternal, you know, to realize I think I would have been an okay mom had I had kids.
Sure.
But I think that they probably would have been spoiled rotten at that time because, you know, when you're young, you're not able to be as patient with them. But as you got older, and I was probably in my 40s when I babysat, and I was like, okay.
Like grandma.
Yeah, that's more grandma probably than a mom.
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense. That's an amazing way to look at it. I mean, you know, I think so many people get bitter. They kind of shake their fist at God, you know, when something like this happens. Do you think that your involvement here that was just ongoing from way back kind of tethered you to more like a healthier environment or people that were there for you, or just a kind of a better way of like working through that versus being outside the church?
oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you know, having the people that had kids that would let us love on them and be the parents, you know, and then we've been grandparents, you know, to some others that have come through the church. And
You know, we've got friends that have been outside of the walls of the church. Most of those we don't really, well, Judy probably knows more of hers than I know of mine, just because, you know, we're so tied into the church, and that's where we've been for over 50 years.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we've always leaned on the encouragement that the church family gives us. And that's what's helped us get in a lot of things, not just the lack of childbirth, but other things that have happened in our life. You know, not hard to know that I've had some medical issues that have gone on. I've got a stainless steel rod in my left femur from a wreck that I was in. I tried to kill myself way back when, back in high school. And then I've got a defibrillator because my heart went crazy. And then I've got a DBS, deep brain stimulator, in my head. And I'm not sure, I don't know that they dug deep enough on that. So we're not.
You're like half robot, David.
Yeah, the jury's still out on that one. And then I've got another stimulator in my back. So, you know, I always tell everybody when I go to the airport, no, I'm not walking through any of the machines. You come pat me down.
Yeah. Right.
Nope. And so anyway, it's you know, God's been with us through the whole thing. Some of the, you know, I had the heart issue hit me while I was at work at Lockheed. That's where my office was at. And I called Judy, and she said, where? No, you never asked me where I was at or where I was going, did you?
I just said, what hospital are they taking you to? And you said the heart hospital.
Oh, okay.
At the time, I was in Irving. It was a Tuesday. I was working overtime. And so I had to get from Irving to Fort Worth, not knowing what hospital he was in. And this is a testimony of God's faithfulness. And when I got there, he was sitting up in bed, and I thought, oh,
We're going
home. Well, no.
not
8
yet.
days. 8 days later, after Thanksgiving, that was up through the Thanksgiving holiday, and his defibrillator, we got to go home. And I didn't know at the time, but the episode that he has is a situation that most people drop dead from. Their heart just
Yeah, it was.
It goes crazy, and they do. And I didn't realize till one of his cousins, who's a cardiac nurse, was telling me that, and I was like, I was very surprised. And he actually came out of that episode without any type of medical intervention. And so,
yeah, it was weird. I was laying there in the ER, and there was two nurses giving me questions. What's your so? What's this? And I finally said, "Hang on a second." And they said, "What?" And I said, "How am I doing?" "You're doing fine. Keep going." I mean, they were checking for brain activity.
Sure.
And apparently I had a little at that time. So, yeah, no damage at that point.
Well, God said, it's not your time yet.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So,
Yeah. So it's been an interesting ride.
Yeah. I mean, what a testimony to God's faithfulness. There's more too. I mean, you guys obviously weren't able to have kids, but you guys definitely became parents and grandparents to countless kids. I mean, including my family. I don't know how many listeners know this, but right after we moved here in 2004, my parents suffered the loss of a child. It was hard. I was pretty young. I was only like 10. But for a 10-year-old, seeing that and being able to kind of you understand enough. You don't understand the full weight of it, but you understand enough. But I remember you guys being there for my parents and being kind of, as my dad and my mom were kind of homesick a little bit from Arizona, and my grandparents weren't here. It appeared that you guys kind of stepped into that role and were there for them, and I remember that. And no doubt you've done that for countless families. Just the ministry of presence and being there. This kind of rock, this stability. I've always kind of held on to that. I've always kind of remembered that.
Well, I'll tell you this much: your little brother Ethan.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for EJ, I mean, he was my best bud.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was very interesting because he'd come in and sit down in my lap, and we'd hang out for a while, and he really filled my spot as well. So
yeah. You guys have a special place in the Reeves family, for sure, and in my heart, for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't blessed to be in the preschool part, but I did get some discipline from David in the sound room in my middle school days.
Oh yeah.
So I got a little bit of that. But yeah, you guys have been incredible to us.
You kept hanging on to that cell phone.
Yep.
Taking away on
Sleeping.
it. Quit poking me.
Come on, Nick. You can't be on your cell phone,
I know.
man.
Sinner.
Spirit of excellence, brother.
I know. It was before I...
Well, and going back to the sound room, it's easy for people in that room to get disconnected from what's going on outside.
Very much so.
For sure.
In the room. And that's one thing that really bothered me the most about not just you guys, but me as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you're in there every day, every Sunday and every Wednesday and every Sunday afternoon, it's easy to get disconnected and not be paying attention because you're waiting to hit the next screen or change the next camera or whatever.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, more often than not, it's not on purpose. Like it's just instinctual to be back there and just to kind of go with the flow and just. I remember there was one time that I just made the decision that I was gonna not be in the sound room because for the listeners, I started in the sound room like 13, around that age. So I think it was probably 18 or 19 that I just took a Sunday and was like, I'm going to sit outside in the just in the sanctuary with everybody else. And I didn't realize how much I wasn't being fed spiritually until I just took that day, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that I'd say that as an encouragement to our guys and to all AV guys. Take some time.
Yeah.
You don't have to be back there every Sunday. Raise up a person.
Find the balance.
Find the balance of
Find
it.
the balance. That's true for most ministries that take you out of the sanctuary. you can't ever do it at the expense of hearing the word.
Yeah.
So you got to have balance for sure.
Well, one of the things for me when I retired from out there and went out into the congregation, I met all these new people. You know, a bunch of them had been here 20 years, but it's the first time I'd met them.
Well,
Yeah.
how our sanctuary is set up is like all the old people sit on the left,
Yep.
in the back. You can never see them where you were in the sound
exactly, exactly.
room. You never knew they existed.
Right. So it was a whole new world for me.
How long were you in the back in the sound room, David?
Well, we put our first system in up in the pulpit, up on the stage. It was a single amp and a single microphone and 2 speakers. And after that, we went to dual Pioneer switches, little 6-channel switches gained together. And we cut a hole in the air conditioner closet up on the stage. And that's where I was at for several years. So, and then from there, we moved upstairs. One of our church members built us a circular stairway where we could get up into the sound room. So you had to be skinny to make it up there.
Oh, this is back when the sound room was above.
Yep.
That's right. Above
Yeah.
the entrance.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it was up there. So, yeah, I mean, God's been good to help us grow, from no sound system to what we've got now. So that's been a good progression to see happen. And the whole process going on back there now, going to streaming and doing the lights and all that kind of stuff and the big video. And I mean, it just all looks so much better than it used to, especially when we didn't have anything.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I was actually telling Bryce a couple weeks ago, just taking a look at all the guys back there. We have a team of like 6 or 7 dudes all doing separate things. And I was just like, remember when it was like 3 of us in a small table and a soundboard?
So I can come back and say, do you remember when it was just one guy
Yeah.
doing everything?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's been interesting. It's been a good growth.
So you are also a deacon of our church.
Yes, sir.
How'd that come about? When did that come about?
That's a good question. I was trying to think of that the other day. There's one picture down on our board that shows 6 guys, 3 of which are dead, and the other 3 the 3 sitting have passed, and the 3 standing, which I'm one of, obviously is still alive. But Brother Jerry had decided that he wanted to add some deacons to the pile. We had Brother Hugh Alkin and Brother Gail Martin and Brother, what was his name?
Wayne Thomas, I
No,
believe.
no, I don't think Wayne was. Wayne may have, and he wasn't at that time. Davis.
Jimmy Davis.
Jimmy Davis. And those 3 guys were our deacon staff at that time, and Jerry wanted to add some more, so he added 3 more to the pile. And so anyway, it's been a long time ago. So
It's been probably 35 years ago, because one of the other guys, they left when their daughter was 4, and
you remember all these things.
yeah. Well, his wife was my best friend, and I was very put out that he took my best friend from here to Missouri, but that's okay. I guess we'll live with that.
Sure.
But anyway, so yeah.
Well, when did you start? I mean, because you mentioned that you were already serving in the church. Before you were saved. I mean,
Yes.
way back. Did you just? What was your story
Well,
there? I mean, like, did you just keep?
When I was in high school, I think I was probably a senior. I worked in the preschool Sunday school, kind of as a helper, and that was in the old Upside Down building. That is now our Upside Down building. The area that we keep the Christmas decorations. That
Yeah.
was our preschool area.
Yeah.
And
I can remember going to Sunday school in that building.
Yeah. So I started when I was 17, and then I taught a like junior high girls training union class back in the day, and then I did bus ministry, and that was fun. I mean, so many different people. Carol and LD are was part of the bus ministry. That's how they came to the church. We had their kids on my Sunday school bus. And then Terry Leeper was a bus kid. He lived out in Lakeside. And I know Gail and Mary Martin, Gail Martin was a saint. I'm sorry, I just, he was, that was their bus route, and Terry will tell you that was his, coming to know the Lord was through that ministry.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I did that, and then David and I, as a young married couple, taught in the youth department. And we actually, I think, were the junior high, had the junior high kids. And Randy and Becky Barker, who were our youth director at that time, they had the senior high. And I remember going to Eureka Springs to the Passion Play right after Brother Jerry and Susan came as our pastor, and Craig and Michelle went with us. And Michelle got sick while we were at the Passion Play. She was crying, I was crying. But I laughed because something was, I guess Craig said something at camp about us working in the youth department.
Oh, yeah.
And Sarah Coates turned around and was like, "What? Really? Y'all
Oh,
did?"
yeah.
I said,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did back in the day.
What time, like what years were this? What do you think this was?
Probably late 70s.
Makes sense.
We did. I know Gail and Mary did the youth before Randy came, and we helped with them then because we would go on New Year's retreats to Possum Kingdom Lake and take the kids there. And so, we did some.
What a joy that was.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
It was fun.
Yeah, I didn't know that until Craig mentioned that you guys worked for with the youth here.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Back in the day.
It's one of the other areas that God's allowed us to be a part of. So
Yeah. Well, it's just amazing to think about just how many decades, but just how many lives that you guys have touched.
hopefully in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just an example of just faithfulness. Like, hey, we're going to be here. We're going to be involved as much as we possibly can. Doors are open. We're here. There's a class to be taught. We're teaching it anywhere.
And we also had a college traveling ministry team that we were the chaperones.
Called the TMT.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there may still be a box down in the sound room. That blue box, that blue plastic box that has TMT on it.
Okay.
That's where that was from.
Interesting.
Traveling ministry team.
We did some.
We had one of our kids get sick, and we went to we had shirts and everything, and we went into the pharmacy. And the guy looked at it and he goes, "What does that stand for? Too many tacos?" No.
You know it.
You wish.
But yeah,
That's
we
funny.
did some youth happening type things in Colorado and some Houston over in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
We just did
Travel
that.
anywhere that somebody wouldn't want us and need us.
Yeah. So
That's amazing. Well, there's just a couple more things that I definitely want to touch on. I mean, so we, every guest that we have come on the show, we always ask them for a verse. We always give them the opportunity to, share like a life verse or a verse that means something to them. And you selected Romans 5, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
What does that verse mean to you, or is there a particular reason?
Well, number one, 8 means that I can survive 9.
Sure, yeah.
Because without the salvation from Christ and his death and burial and resurrection to provide that salvation, we don't escape God's wrath.
That's right.
And that's what it's got to be. That's why it's so important that we don't target a bunch of other junk.
Yeah.
It's probably not the right way to word it. So you can bleep that out, I guess. But the other stuff that preachers will try to throw into messages that they present from the pulpit.
Yeah, just fluff.
It's just, it's fluff.
Yeah.
It's just, it has no value, no real reach to it. And it really needs to be about presenting Christ.
Right.
That's right.
Because without him, you're going to face that wrath, and I don't want to be there for that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm glad that you chose the 2, because 8 is great.
yeah,
But I think 9 paints the full picture.
right.
What are you saved from?
Yeah.
Right.
Why is it important? Absolutely. It's a great set of verses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has that been kind of like a life verse for you or
Well,
you guys?
it's been a recent life verse for me.
Sure, sure.
I mean, for both of us, there's so many verses that we could pick and choose from that just happen to be the ones that I picked at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of verses that we could go to and be a part of that are part of our life. One of the things that bothers me about I'll call it former life, because where we're at now is this life, and the past life is the fact that I put more emphasis on me and what I did here, and that's not what it's about. It's God let us do the things that we have done, not because of us, but because He worked through us.
That's right.
And it's it's not about me, it's not about her, it's not about us. It's about Christ.
Yeah.
And what He's doing for the church. We've seen a lot of growth numerically,
Yeah.
and spiritually in our church within the last year and a half or so. Sorry. But and we're challenged now with where are we going to put everybody
Right.
when
Yeah.
we get to, we're now maxing out the auditorium. Not totally yet, but we're getting close to where every seat's going to be
If
filled.
we have a couple more years of what we've seen,
Yeah.
the last couple
Yeah,
of years,
exactly.
yeah, we'll
Exactly.
be there. We'll be there.
So anyway, but God's going to take care of it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. Like you said, I'm being a deacon. We're on an advisory staff, I guess you would call it, to Brother Zach, to try and give him the best information that we can give and the best recommendations that we can give on how to approach this. And we don't have any good answers yet. We know it's all about money at the moment, and God's got all the money on the planet.
Yeah.
It all belongs to Him.
That's right.
He just needs to send somebody that'll give us the money, or give it to us so that we can give it, one or the other,
Yeah.
or a mixture of all above.
Right.
But yeah, God's going to work it out. So I'm not concerned about it at all.
Yeah.
So
It's like the best possible problem to have,
exactly,
Yeah.
right? Like
That's exactly right.
If we're gonna have one issue,
yeah,
let it be that we have too many people that are hearing the gospel
Right.
and bringing their families and lives are getting changed and people are being saved and added to the kingdom, and we can't fit them in this building.
yeah. And the good thing is there's history tells us that there are other pastors that have had that problem.
Yeah.
That one of the solutions was telling church members don't show up for church, so that the people that need to be preached to can be here.
Sure.
And Spurgeon was one of those guys
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, and there's things like that. I mean, you get close to like an idea of like, well, should we? And we talked about this at nauseum about like church planting and mission work. We've gone through a pretty heavy circuit of that recently, but you're almost to the point where I wonder if it's, if God is maybe trying to raise up some young men to go out and maybe plant another church in the area. We don't have to get into the whole mega church conversation, but that's my biggest kind of pet peeve or my biggest concern with some of these mega churches. they're not following the biblical model.
Right.
Well,
So-
and the killer is that, when you've got multiple campuses, is what they call them now. When you've got these multiple campuses, there's no accountability between the campuses.
Yeah.
right.
There's no connection between them. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I realized if we go 300 or 400 people in our services on Sunday mornings, it's going to be hard to know everybody,
For sure.
because it's hard for me to know everybody now
Right.
because of how stinking old I am. But,
Well, it just lends itself to a lot of temptation.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, when it comes to money, you're tempted to not, know your pastor or have conversations. I think it's important that you can have FaceTime with your pastor.
Yeah.
But accountability across the board, it just gets harder and harder. More temptation, the larger you get. But the other side of it is, I mean, you look at some of these mega churches, and there's definitely mega churches like in the area that are terrible, doing spreading a false gospel, 100%. But there's some even in our metroplex that are doctrinally solid.
Yeah. First Dallas, somebody
Sure,
like that.
I would say. I mean, Lake Point is
Yeah.
from my perspective is doctrinally solid. I would just disagree on the church growing method, but God is using it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Lake Point has 30,000 members,
Yeah.
so God is using it. Like God's word will not return void.
Right.
But
Yeah. I'd rather 30,000 Christians hear the gospel than 30,000 Christians hearing nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
correct.
agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
But for me, one of the problems with going so big is you can take any individual or group of individuals and take them out of that service, and nobody's going to know.
That's right.
Nobody misses them because there's 28,000 other people
Right.
that fill
Yeah.
the hole.
Well, there's no intimacy.
Right. Yeah,
With your
exactly.
fellow church members, and it's just it's harder to follow kind of what you see in like Galatians, where you're supposed to lean on each other, where you're supposed to have close knit relationships with your church family. It just gets harder and harder to do.
And that's the key word is family.
That's right.
I mean,
That's it.
we should be a family.
But I mean, it's God will still use it. It just makes me grateful for what we have here,
Yeah.
Right.
and what the Lord has done here. You said it earlier, but it's not any of us. It's not Zach. It's not Brother Jerry or Al. I mean, it's God used these men,
Yep.
and we've just shown up and done the work.
Yeah.
We've shown up and been faithful. Which I guess brings me to my last question. Unless Nick, if you have anything else, as we close, what would be, if you could speak to a future generation, or even the members of this church?
Oh, this is going to be easy. Go ahead. Keep going.
What is something that you like? If you could speak directly to the congregation, what would be something that you like, words of encouragement, or something you would tell them, or a future generation? What parting advice would you give them?
Be faithful to God in everything, not just your time, not just your things, but in money, in all of it. I mean, that's been one of the big things that we've been able to sit down and look at over the history of our life and in our marriage and our relationship with each other, is that we can see when we've been faithful to God, especially in our finances, because that's one of the big areas that you can mark and say, okay, we were here, now we're here. How did we get to here? Well, because we kept giving to God.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talk about now is we can't outgive God. I mean, every time we try to outgive him, he just says, okay, here I'll show you. Here you go. And so just be faithful to God. And I know it can be hard. I mean, I've got some family members that say, well, I'm not sure I'm going to tithe this week because I don't know that we have enough money. One of our former deacons, Jimmy Davis, told the story a long, long time ago that he didn't tithe one Sunday. And he had a flat going home that day. And it cost him $10, which was his tithe for that day, for that week. And so from then on, he said, no, I'm not going to not tithe. I mean, tithe's going to go to God every week now. So, and I don't know that we've ever had an event like that, because I can't think of a time that we haven't paid our tithe. But he's always been faithful to us,
Yeah.
financially and emotionally and spiritually.
And that's not to say that we haven't had financial issues
Oh,
in the
yeah,
past, because
absolutely.
we have.
Yeah.
But God's, been faithful to get us through it. And God can do so much more with 90% or even 80% of your income than you can do with 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, he just has blessed. And we've tried to make it hard, on us. And, we never missed a meal. We never missed a bill,
Yeah.
He supplied. And so, and I'm with David. Just be faithful, Be faithful in your church attendance. Be faithful, in your love for each other as far as the church family. Right now, I love the culture of our church. I feel like we are kind of a hospital for hurting souls.
That's good.
I've seen so many people that have come in the last 2 to 3 years. Some of them had physical issues, medical issues, that we've been able to support them and pray for them and just encourage them. Somebody came in, had lost their son, and when they had left church after that, and I told them, I said, if you'll just keep coming, let us love on you.
Mm-hmm.
They're the most faithful and the most encouraging person that in our church.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know we've got folks that have come in that have had church hurt.
Yeah.
I can't relate
to that,
I can't
yeah.
relate to that. But, people come in and we can just love on them, and they love us back, and and we can support each other and just pray for each other. And I don't know, that culture,
Yeah.
I just love. And, I think Brother Zach has done a great job in cultivating that culture.
Yeah.
I agree. It makes me wonder. I think about this often, just how people do it without a church home, a church family. And we're extremely blessed to have this culture here, the people we have here. It's not like that everywhere. Not every church has what we have, but just to not have a church family at all.
Yeah.
To not have people you can pray with, cry with, people to lean on to help you through life. I honestly don't know how people do it.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't
Totally agree with
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. I think it's just because there's no strings attached with anybody. Like there's no we're just loving you just because, we love you and we want to. It's not because I want you to do something for me.
Right.
Like there's an ill intent behind it.
It's not conditional.
And we don't treat it like this is like how you would go to a meet and greet or something, or some sort of convention where it's like you know people but you half know them, and rather than you come here and these people are my family. I see them more than my own family, and that's the culture that we have here, is that you could call people up, you can call the pastor up, you can call literally anybody and talk to them about anything, and people come up to you and treat you like you're a human being and
Yeah.
love you with grace. So that's how it should be. It's good.
Agreed. Well, I appreciate you guys taking time out of your Friday afternoon to walk up 21 stairs and
Twice.
yeah,
For me.
twice, and make it happen. I appreciate it. And I know our people who, our church, and we have, hundreds of members, and people outside the church as well that listen to this. Liquid Baptist Church loves you guys.
Well, thank you.
And
Thank you. We love it back.
Yeah. From me, and I know Nick feels the same way. Like, thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you.
Well, only by the grace of God.
Yep.
Amen. Amen.
Exactly right.
Well, Nick, tell them where to find us. I'll memorize this one day.
One day. You can find us at Hammer and Quill Publications on Instagram and Facebook. You can find all of our podcast content on all podcast streaming services. We're right now moving all of our podcast content to our Lake Worth Baptist Church YouTube page. So if you are not following our church's YouTube page, go check it out, because sooner rather than later, all of our stuff is going to be there. And then if you want to reach out to us, you can email us at podcast@lakeworthbaptist.org. And then, of course, if you're in the Fort Worth, Lake Worth area, come visit us.
Yeah, come say hi. We'd love to shake your hand and minister to you in any way we can. And look forward to the next couple of episodes. We've got another apologetics episode going. Should be coming out next week on the topic of anger. And then we'll have another installment in our eschatology series as we look through the tribulation. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. And we'll catch you guys next week. All right. Bye-bye. Stay safe.